Aston Villa, the football club that has become a staple to the sport, have a wide and golden history. From being one of the founding clubs of the Football League in 1888 and to the introduction of Premier League in 1992, being one of 5 English clubs to win the European Cup in 1982 and achieving 25 domestic titles and 3 European Cups. But what made this team so successful? It was the players, of course, club legends and icons like Dennis Mortimer, Brian Little, Peter Wibb, Paul McGrath, Dwight York, Nigel Spink, Juan Pablo Angel, Charlie Aitken, and of course, Jack Grealish. The list can go on. However, for every icon that wears the claret and blue shirt with pride, there are a group of players that fail to meet the hype and flop more than a TikTok star trying to be a social media influencer. So without further ado, my name is Ben, and in this video we will discuss the biggest Aston Villa transfer flops. At number 5, we have Habib Beye. The former Marseille captain and Newcastle Player of the Year, the player was originally believed to be joining Hull City after chairman Paul Duffin revealed that the Tigers had agreed a fee for him to sign Beye from 6th of August 2009. However, it would be announced the following day that Aston Villa had swooped the deal and signed Habib Beye. Beye would only go on to make 9 appearances for Aston Villa and prove in a disastrous spell. In his Aston Villa debut on the 2009-2010 opening day season, he would be substituted late into his 2-0 defeat by Wigan Athletic. In his 3rd game, he would see himself sent off after an away tie against West Ham United. But the biggest disappointment for Beye was the lack of appearance and game time, as the likes of Carlos Cuellar and Luke Young ahead of him in the pecking order would find it hard for him to make an impact to the team and see himself playing at Villa Park or in any of the team's games. After an extremely disappointing 2.5 years though, he would agree by the 2nd of February 2012 that his contract will be terminated by mutual consent and would go on to play for Doncaster Rovers, which unfortunately would be the last club he would continue playing football for. To a lot of fans, this wouldn't be a surprise. To management, who else could have seen it coming? But overall, Beye proved to be a flop. At number 4, we have Adama Traore. Yes, I'm talking about that Traore, but we'll get to that in a minute. Traore would join the Premier League side Aston Villa in 2015 on £7 million in the aspirations of helping the club survive from Premier League relegation. He would make his debut 8 days later against Crystal Palace, and his cross would lead to an own goal from Papa Soare 8 minutes into joining the game after a substitute from Carlos Sanchez, showing that he can make an impact even before he gained the relevance and impact that he has today. He would score his first goal 3 days later against Notts County in the 2nd round of the League Cup. He would also score a second goal in Sunderland after a volley equaliser, even though the team would lose 3-1 to Sunderland. Following that game though, he would be dropped from the team due to indiscipline as the season ended in relegation, a terrible moment and outstanding impact in Aston Villa's history. But what happened from there? Well, after joining Middlesbrough and carrying on to play for them, he would later join Wolverhampton Wanderers after promoted from winning the Championship. He would join then and go on to become what is to be considered a massive talent and definitely one for the future, creating headlines through his goals scored in Manchester City, Tottenham Hotspur and West Ham United. Overall, the player has become a major difference from the young, shy-looking individual playing the claret and blue colours to the muscular and strong player that we see from Wolverhampton Wanderers today. He is definitely one for the future, so keep your eyes on him, but at Aston Villa, you might as well have kept your eyes on the pies. At number 3, we have Robert Perez. If you asked me, we would be signing one of the best French players and Arsenal legends of all time to join Aston Villa in the claret and blue shirt, I wouldn't have believed you. And considering when this signing was made, I'm glad I said that statement. On 2010, Gerard Houllier had completed talks with Perez and managed to make the midfielder complete a move to Aston Villa on a 6-month contract. He would go on to make his debut in the Premier League on the 21st of November as a second half substitute, although his new club would be beaten by Blackburn Rovers. Although praised by many seniors like Balaban, Stuart Downing and Shane Lowry, Perez would only go on to score one goal in his career at Aston Villa, and this would come in the FA Cup against Blackburn Rovers on the 29th of January 2011. Apart from that, his next best start in Blackburn Rovers on the Premier League, this would be described as one of his most influential performances since joining the club. In early March in the 2011-2012 season, Perez would state he would like to remain at Aston Villa as he believed he could see something from this. However, Julio would respond differently to these claims and believe that no decision had been made. But a few days later, he would be released from his contract. He would go on to play for FA Gola in the Indian Super League before retiring and becoming a coach. On paper, this should have been a much better move. Like the moves we've seen for John Terry and more experienced players in recent times, this should have been one that could have been a little bit better. However, since Martin O'Neill's departure, things had never been the same and the club would look on to go to be a despair. This would be shown in the signing of Robert Perez. And number 2, we have Stan Collymore. After his majorly successful career at Liverpool, it was time to wind down, and the Anfield striker would be sold to Aston Villa in 1997 for £7 million, making him Liverpool's most expensive sale at the time. However, in the 3 years that he would spend at the club, Collymore would prove to be little success. Only scoring 15 goals, he would fail to find his regular starting position in the Aston Villa squad. Highs included being only the third Aston Villa player in history to score a hat-trick in European competition, the other two being Gary Shaw and Peter Wiv, and also managing to bag 2 goals against his former club Liverpool in a 2-1 home victory. However, poor form and a suffering of clinical depression would see Collymore retrieve treatment from a private hospital Ropeton for several weeks. This would result in his return to professional football being spent on a 3-month loan at Fulham, where he would score once in the League Cup final against West Brom. Ultimately, he would be allowed to leave by manager John Gregory on a free transfer to Leicester City, where, at the time, under 2006 manager Martin O'Neill, he would regain some of the early form that he captured when scoring a hat-trick against Sunderland in his 5-2 victory, of which O'Neill would record to say one of the best Leicester sides that he'd seen today. But we're talking about Aston Villa, and as we're recording this, Stan Collymore is still believed to be a massive fan, and hopefully in the area. Overall, the man should have been doing a lot better. For the highlights that he had playing along the players that he did at Liverpool and scoring the goals that he would go on to make, you would have thought he would have a much bigger impact, but unfortunately he wasn't able to recreate the magic, and due to several unwilling problems, he would have to leave the club. Upon this, he would be loaned back to Dinamo Zagreb for the 2000-2003 season, scoring 15 times in 24 appearances. Where was he when we needed him? In December 2003, Aston Villa released Balaban from his contract and he signed for Club Brugge on a free transfer. After this, Balaban would be recited as one of the worst Premier League signings of all times. However, more recently in a 2019 interview with 442, Balaban disputed this, arguing that Aston Villa never gave him the opportunity to play, stating, "If you're a club that throws big money at signings and then doesn't let them actually play, the joke should really be at your expense." Ultimately, he couldn't take it because he was a bit rubbish. What to say about Balaban? Just nothing good to his game. He didn't provide anything for us and was just a complete waste of money. And after the sayings that he had on the interview, it's not a surprise he would be seen as one of the worst Premier League signings of all time and possibly the worst signing for Aston Villa. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We wanted to do something a little bit different and, provide something that had a bit more of a better quality rather than just pumping out video after video every day and giving you a bit more quantity. As they say, quality over quantity. But do let us know if you enjoyed this video. You can put this by putting it in the description, in the comments, whatever you want. You can screen share this, write all over it. We don't care. Just tell us how you feel. Tell us on our socials. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you never miss out on new content to the channel. Be sure to check out fatalgrips.com. You'll gain 10% off if you use our discount code PRINTOFVILLA and save yourself a bit of money for when you want to buy yourself a nice little Prezi. But thank you guys for watching. Up the Villa with the pride of Villa. We'll see you later, boys.